Louisville, Joanna.
Yeah, Alyssa Zabala is the key for Louisville. She can change a game, and she's going to have to take a lot of ownership against this Florida State lineup, because she's the one that's going to be responsible for setting the tone early for this Louisville squad.
So Alyssa Zabala, 3.87 ERA, 8 non-decisions. Hits just 2/3 of an inning Tuesday night. She's at 114 for the year thus far.
Yeah, an absolute workhorse for Louisville. She is throwing a lot of different pitches, but she mostly will work the screwball, curveball, rise ball. The changeup has been the wild card for her. If she can command that changeup, she has a lot better and longer outing, and that's just the difficulty of keeping elite hitters off base, which we've already said Florida State has a ton of those.
Zabala working ahead in the count, 1-2 to Isa Torres, 2-2 now. Torres, the sophomore from Georgetown, Texas, leads the ACC with her 74 hits, stands second in the country with those 74 hits. Just missing on the inside part of the plate. The Louisville fan faithful not happy. Torres with only 3 strikeouts this season. And the payoff pitch from Zabala, swung on, drilled into foul territory up the left-hand side.
Yeah, Torres has elite plate awareness. She does not get surprised much by pitches. She has a very keen eye on top of a very disciplined approach. She knows what she is looking for. She follows that game plan. This is an excellent leadoff hitter for the Seminoles.
Another payoff pitch coming from Zabala is downstairs, and Torres with the free pass and the leadoff walk for the Noles. So we'll take a look at the Cardinals defense. We talked about Alyssa Zabala in the circle. It's Bree Despines rounding out the battery behind the plate. Allie Alexander, Taylor Monroe, Easton Lotus, and Maddie Grant left to right in the dirt. Lorenz, Mack, Pickens left to right in the outfield for the Cards. This read there by Monroe. Janai Kerr get a single into left field, and so much speed from Isa Torres. She had the green light all the way from first base.
Well, and that's what happened to Monroe. She was so concerned about the base runner. She vacated her position early. As a defender, number one priority is you hold your ground. You have to see where that ball is hit. She does not, and there was no hesitation on the base paths from Florida State. And to me, that has always been the difference in Florida State's offense. They take extra bases at will. They are an elite base running team. They have been for a decade, and they will find a way to score runs that other teams don't even think about, let alone execute.
Well, now the Noles with 2 in scoring position for the redshirt senior from Sneads, Florida, Michaela Edenfield. Edenfield with 40 hits this season, 20 of those have been for RBIs. This is outside.
And this is the indication of why the RBIs are so high, right? I mean, you have runners at second and third. It doesn't take much to find a way to plate a runner. And Florida State has been so good in the first inning. And the way that they produce runs early, the top of this lineup, this is just textbook for them. And I'm sure they finally feel the ability to exhale, right? This is where you want to be. This is your safe space, your happy place on the field. And their return to it has been fast and furious.
Well, Joanna, to your point, they are outscoring opponents 77-19 in the first inning. I mean, they come out strong.
Yep, and they're 26-1 when they score in the first inning. So not only do they score a lot, but it's almost a guarantee if they get on the board first. Look out.
2-2 the count to Edenfield. Swung on, drilled. Barreled that one up.
That was square. That was square. I don't think Travis even saw it.
Nope.
Travis Wilson, third base coach. outstanding player in his day. And I've been waiting for this moment for a year. Last year I called him a pitcher, and I don't know why. You know how sometimes you say something and you're like, why did you just say that? He is not, I want to go on the record, the only New Zealander that's not a pitcher.
That's been bothering you for a year.
Yeah, it has been. Yeah, it's stuck with me, and it's stuck with him. I've heard it a few times.
Oh,
so
man.
We're just going to clear that up right now.
All right. Not a pitcher.
Yes,
not a pitcher.
Yep.
A good look there at Travis Wilson. 14th season alongside Lonnie Alameda. Another 2-2 coming to Edenfield. Missing on the outside part of the plate. Home plate umpire Stacy Newton. First base, Eddie Hall, and at third, Heath Walker, the umpire crew for this evening's game. Payoff in and on the hands. Zabala can't handle it. Lots of English on that ball off the bat of Edenfield, and one crosses the plate for Florida State. Runners on the corners and no outs for the Cards defense.
Yeah, rare miscue here from Zabala. She is an excellent fielder at her position. You can see this gets to her, just a little funny spin on it, scoots through the glove. She's able to corral it, but not in time to keep the runner from scoring or Edenfield off first, leaving runners on the corners here for the Noles and still nobody out. And this is where it gets tough for Louisville because they've rolled 2 ground balls. Right. So you think about what you want to do, and you roll 2 ground balls against Florida State in the first inning. Within the first 3 hitters, you're thinking, all right, we're in good shape. And it's quite the opposite.
Not out of the weeds yet, as Edenfield will advance 60 feet. Two in scoring position. It's Jason Beecham, the sophomore from Tallahassee, Florida. Louisville's defense definitely not out of the weeds yet. This is into foul territory in front of Seminoles dugout there. Beecham sitting at a 343 clip, has 40 RBIs on the season. 385 career batting average in her 2 seasons thus far. Finds left center field. Edenfield will round third, but she'll stay there. And an RBI for Jason Beecham and a double.
Yeah, and just some of the execution. And Beecham's so strong, such a good hitter. You see she gets this in on the hands, muscles through it. But then you have the missed cut coming from the outfield. That ball going all the way home allows Beecham to move up another 60 feet. So you still have 2 runners in scoring position here for Florida State. And as we've established, there's really no lull in the lineup. I mean, they just keep coming at you.
Katie Dack to the plate, the senior from Parker, Colorado.
Great changeup delivery there from Zabala, taking control of this at bat. Excellent first pitch.
You see now updated Florida State outscoring opponents 79-19. This is in between. This will find the 3-4 hole. Beecham will get back to third base again. And Dack will pass the bat to Angelique Bueno. Runner still on the corners for the Seminoles.
Yeah, and another ground ball that you get that's rolled. It's 100% a hit. I mean, that ball was hit extremely hard. So for Zabala, who lives in the top half of the zone, a lot more screwball, curveball, rise ball, the ground balls have been great. Just unable to record any outs.
So 3-0 in favor of the Noles. It's Angelique Bueno to the plate. And now Dack will make her way down to second base. The tag is not in time.
You see the throw here from Despines. A little bit of a double clutch, but the short hop doesn't allow the speed of the ball to outpace the runner.
And a flare into right field. Beecham will cross the plate, as will Dak. Looks like Holly April is going to want to come have a word with home plate umpire Stacy Newton. So we're going to have a pitching change here. It is going to be Brooke Gray, the sophomore from right here in Louisville, Kentucky. We'll tell you more about Brooke Gray when we come back after these messages.
For some of us, personal finances aren't just personal.
She has improved her off speed, looks to use both sides of the plate, and she finds herself in an early hole here.
It's Kennedy Harp to face Brooke Gray. It's Angelique Bueno, the base runner, on first for the Noles. Kennedy Harp, the sophomore from Lawrenceville, Georgia. Skies this to the left-hand side. Chelsea Mack waving off Char Lorenz, makes the grab in left center territory, and the Cards finally get their first out here in the top of the first.
And that has to be the mentality, one at a time, right? Anytime you find yourself in an early hole for Brooke Gray, she can deliver the best pitch possible every time she lets one loose. Then that's all she can do, all she can control. So trying to slow it down and take that one pitch at a time mentality, one out at a time, give your offense a chance to try to dig themselves out of the hole.
So it is the 2023 Gatorade Player of the Year and the Kentucky Miss Softball in the circle, facing the 2022 Tennessee Gatorade Player of the Year, Ashton Danley. Sophomore from Winchester, Tennessee. Great two-way player.
That's one thing you'll notice about Florida State, just the flexibility of their lineup. Not only do they throw a plethora of pitchers that you are going to see throughout any given game and series, but they will do the same at the plate. They have a lot of athletes with various at-bats and can shuffle those in and out of the lineup, and they just stay so in tune with the process and the end goal. It just doesn't seem to matter who is the next person up. They all do a great job on the execution side.
So Danley, a little roller to Brooke Gray, gets the lead out at second base. That'll sit down Angelique Bueno. So 2 outs for the Cards. That'll bring the designated player Shelby McKenzie to the plate, freshman from Pace, Florida. "14 hits on the season, have resulted in 13 RBIs. This will be her 41st plate appearance of the year. The 1-1 to McKenzie. Off speed, just missing. This will find 5-6 gap. Char Lorenz can't glove that cleanly. So a single into left field, but both base runners will advance an extra bag here. Two in scoring position. That'll turn the lineup back over, bring Isa Torres back to the plate.
Florida State just continuing to square up these at-bats. Even the ground balls that they're hitting have a lot of pace on them. A lot of exit velocity coming off the sticks of the Seminoles.
This is upstairs. Well, Joanna, you and I were talking off air before the broadcast. Is Florida State, after a 12-day hiatus, going to come out a little rusty, or are they going to come out ready to play? I think we know the answer. This is sky high. Under it is Maddie Grant. He'll make the grab in foul territory, able to not trip on that bat. So Florida State strands two, but they put up a big crooked number. They lead 5-0.
They're just sometimes you just take a little bit of time to get the dirt under your feet, literally, and make it your own.
First pitch delivery, low and inside from Danley to Lotus. That's in for a strike. 1-1 the count. Lotus, the red shirt junior from New Lenox, Illinois. Was out all season last year due to injury. Holly April was very glad to have her back. Called her one of their two rocks between Easton Lotus and Allie Alexander, one of the four seniors that will be recognized tomorrow. They're really the two rocks of this Cardinals squad. You get a good look there at Holly April. Coaches third base for the Cards. One and two misses low, evens up the count 2-2 to Lotus. Chop to the right-hand side. Applying the tag is Angeli Bueno, playing that very well off the dirt.
Yeah, that's what Lotus is going to look for, and trying to get the high bounce, give herself time to get to first base, really use that ground as more of a short game offensive player. And, having Chelsea Mack behind you, Chelsea has that same offensive philosophy, so it gives her an opportunity to see a look and have an idea, game plan as well here against Danley.
Well, now to be Chelsea Mack to face Ashton Danley. Flashes the bunt, pulls it back. Pitch misses high. Mack, the junior from Brecksville, Ohio. Sitting at a 363 clip. This is off Edenfield behind the dish.
And this lineup adjustment, bringing Mack back to the top of the order. She had been moved down a little bit, just trying to find a comfort zone. But Coach April talked about how much better they were when they had Mack and Lotus together in the top of the lineup. And Mack, being in a really good place, has had some success the last few games. Really trying to find that 1-2 punch early as table setters for Louisville.
Bunts that one foul. Asking for the signal again, the 2-1. Coming to Chelsea Mack. Slow roller, and that'll be foul ball. Everyone will reset.
We're going through softballs right now like it's a baseball game. Like every other pitch, they're leaving the park, whether they need dried off or scuffed up or whatever it might be. But a lot of ball changes and transitions.
A lot of juggling. A lot of juggling. Again, fouls that one off. Continues to battle here. Back a transfer from the University of Kentucky. Started all but one game in center field for the Cards since joining the squad after her freshman year at Kentucky. That's in the dirt. I was going to say, I think we're going to have another juggle here. Payoff pitch from Danley. It's into the left-hand side. Torres gets it over to Bueno for the putout for out number 2. Take a look around the diamond. We talked about Danley and Edenfield, the battery for the Noles. It's Beecham and Torres on the left-hand side in the infield. Hartley and Bueno on the right. Kerr, Harp, and Dak rounds out the defense in the outfield. Jason E. Beecham at third base. He's had some moments of brilliance. Big swing there from Char Lorenz.
Yeah, for Florida State, the defense is going to be the biggest key for this matchup throughout the 3-game series, in my opinion, because Louisville's mantra is get on base, put the ball in play. And that's the way they score runs. And they're going to do that with the short game. We saw it from the first 2 hitters, and then you're going to let a few people swing away. But Florida State at times this year has been plagued by errors and has a lower fielding percentage than they've had in a little bit of time. They've struggled with some consistency defensively, and for Louisville, that has to be, where you are trying to take advantage. So getting the ball in play, trying to make things happen and put pressure on this defense is going to be their strategy.
A hard hit ball to Beecham. Lots of speed. Char Lorenz able to beat out that throw. And to your point, Joanna, right on cue. A hard hit ball for from Char Lorenz. Just unable to glove that cleanly at the hot corner is Beecham.
Yeah, it's a play that gets to her very quickly, and just between the speed of Lorenz and the way the ball was played off the body, unable to record the out there, and that's what Louisville is going to be looking for, and they're going to be looking for it top to bottom in their lineup, trying to take advantage of any way that they can get on base.
Louisville, 89 stolen bases on the season. They lead the ACC is off the head of Cam Luckadoo, and she'll get the free pass. And 2 now aboard. Not that you ever want to see a player take one off the helmet. This is what Holly April said, that she wants to see her team. They're a scrappy team. They want to get base runners aboard, just as you mentioned.
Absolutely, and really from the beginning when the Tamp came out to try to change the ground for Danley, she has not looked very comfortable. You can see Luckadoo gets this in the back, able to turn and lower her body so that she can absorb that hit. Textbook for any young athletes out there. That is definitely how you want to turn into a pitch that's coming to you. But Danley just hasn't looked comfortable. Her ball-to-strike ratio has been way off, and she's struggled here really attacking these Louisville hitters. It's starting to cause a little bit of problem here with 2 outs in the first inning and 2 aboard.
You can see it starting to sprinkle here at Ulmer Stadium yet again. Lonnie Alameda going out to have a word with her infield. See the rain falling yet again. Originally it caused us to have a 2-hour delay. This was originally first pitch 6 p.m. for game 1 of the series. And got bumped to 8.
That's one thing you will see several different arms for Florida State. Danley, on average, is 3 innings, give or take, in any appearance. You look at her appearances and innings pitched. I mean, it's not something that you will see very often. The pitchers going any type of complete game, only a couple of times so far this year. So an early change wouldn't be out of the norm.
Well, and we talked about Alyssa Zabala, who got the start for the Cards, 114 innings. Ashton Danley actually leads this staff with her 71 2/3 innings worth of work coming into this game. Obviously, it's 72 1/3 now after the 2 outs, but
yeah, they use 4 pitchers, and Danley has 24% of their innings, and then it's 23-20-19. I mean, there's just not a workhorse as when you compare what you see on Louisville's side with Zabala, Gray, and Boo.
So it's Bree Despines, the junior from Creve Coeur, Illinois, at the plate to face Ashton Danley.
And this is the opportunity I think Coach April really wanted to see Bree Despines step up. And this is where some of these hitters for Louisville are going to have to execute in these tough situations. Double in a gap here scores 2 and changes your game, changes your momentum, gives a little bit of life to you, compared to, an easy out. So this is where Despines really needs to be a leader and make something happen.
High and outside to Despines, evens up the count. A little deuces wild early in the game here. I'm always itching for some deuces wild. Lines this into foul territory.
Yeah, great cut there from Despines, and being down 0-2 in this count, working it back to even. It lets you take a little bit more deliberate swings. We saw them be very defensive, it felt like, in that midweek with Western Kentucky. So even just seeing the intentionality behind the swing and the approach, that's important. It sets the tone. I've always said hitting is contagious. So it's getting on base and even the way that you are poised in the batter's box. So good opportunity for Despines here. Set the stage for her team.
Well, in the word poise, you used that. That was something that Holly April said multiple times on our call this week with Coach. And, take chances, but do so with poise. Don't be tentative, but don't also swing for the fences every time you're up to bat. So taking chances with poise, that was really the underlying message that she wanted to see from her team. Again, skies this into foul territory up the left field line.
And you're trying to teach that lesson to a bunch of underclassmen. When you think about those who are in the middle of the lineup, Luckadoo and Despines and Pickens and Monroe right now, even Lorenz, she's been very successful, but they're all very inexperienced. Despines is new to the conference in her junior year of play, but that is a hard lesson that is usually only comes with the innings played, and they don't have them yet.
The payoff pitch fouled off. As you mentioned, Despines, a transfer from Kent State. She was part of the All-MAC second team a season ago and the All-Freshman team back in 2023. Another payoff pitch, swung on, hard hit ball. But well played there by Christina Hartley. So Louisville strands 2. Florida State leads by 5. Top of the second. Next.
Conference, but it is here for your taking. At some point through the weekend, it would go a long way to steal a victory.
Well, and Louisville has had some success over the last couple of years. And, Coach Alameda was talking about Louisville is always a scrappy team. They always give us usually one game where they're really, really competitive and come away with a win. 1-run games. Some of these games have been nail biters.
You're absolutely right. And for Florida State, they have been so dominant in the ACC for so long that it doesn't really seem plausible. But their lowest win percentage in ACC play is against Louisville. They are more likely to lose a game to Louisville than any other ACC opponent. And it just, sometimes it's kind of crazy how that works out and in the way that it matches up. But that's been the story the last few years.
Florida State picked in the preseason poll to finish second in the ACC. They are looking for their 15th regular season title. And Janai Kerr will get rung up with a backwards K.
Yeah, huge pitch right there from Brooke Gray. Great start for her for the inning.
See 14-1 in ACC play. Their best start since 2017, where they went 24-0 in league play. It's Edenfield to face Brooke Gray. One out for the Cards.
One of the other things Coach April talked about on the call this week when she was addressing Zabala and the injury and what that might mean for the innings of work, she talked about Brooke Gray having the opportunity to work through some things and really take advantage of what the situation might entail for her. And she did that. She threw a great game against Western Kentucky, did not have the run support that she needed. And, really now having her own first inning, came in with some inherited issues in the first, but has done really well here to get started in the second.
Well, and, to add to that, what Holly was saying is, Brooke has really matured in her response to the adversity on the field. Now the free pass to Edenfield. Not the response to the strikeout that I think Brooke Gray was hoping for.
No, that's tough, though. That's Edenfield's 31st walk of the season.
Yeah.
She's just at the plate. When you deal with someone who has the presence that Edenfield has, the output that she has, and then coupled with she does not chase pitches. She will take that walk. She's very good at that. That's a tough task, and Edenfield able to work the free pass.
Bree Despines coming out to have a word with Brooke Gray. It's a little smile from her pitcher. It's Jason E. Beecham. Got a single into center field, scored a run back in the first. High and inside to Beecham. Drilled up the foul line. Travis has a target on him there at third base.
He's getting a lot of work over there, that's for sure.
Keeping him sharp.
I bet he loves it. I mean, what's it mean? It means your team's hitting the ball hard. Not a bad situation to be in.
2-1 to Beecham. It's upstairs. Sky high into left field. Char Lorenz makes the squeeze. Edenfield will make her way back to first. 2 outs now for the Cardinal defense. It'll be Katie Dack to the plate, senior from Parker, Colorado. Got her 21st RBI in 16 conference games. And how about that, Allie Alexander? Oh. I thought she caught that before it bounced.
It was a great play. She lost it on contact with the ground, unable to control that. But, I mean, just even to get to it, you watch this reaction. She gets there, scoots out of the glove. Great job trying to finish the play, just doesn't have the ability to do so. She's played excellent defense all year long, and you really think about how many defensive changes that she has endured in her career, how many different positions she's played, changing positions multiple times over the course of the season for injuries, and she just is thriving in her senior campaign, and you have to think it's because of the consistency that she's been afforded with her teammates staying healthy.
Yeah, fantastic effort. One of the 4 seniors that will be honored tomorrow. Izzy Harrison, Maddie Grant at first base, and Sam Boo. We see their numbers right there in shallow center field. So runners at first and second. It's Angeli Bueno at the plate.
You think about seniors and just what's going on in nationally. You think about Florida State. They have 9 seniors lost their senior day last weekend when they weren't able to play those games. And, Coach Alameda was telling us that some of those same kids lost senior days to COVID, when they were in high school. And so really cool event they're going to be doing next week to honor those seniors on their home field in a different way. But it's always a tough time of year. There's a lot of emotions, and it's nice to see both teams being able to honor those who have put so much time and effort into their programs and culture.
Well, and so much fun. They're going to involve the fans, have some, hitting contests with fans and base running contests with fans, make it super interactive. I loved the idea.
I think it's brilliant. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
Take the emotion out of it right before a game.
Autograph signings and all of it. I predict it becomes a trend. I think it's going to be a huge success.
Nice backhand there by Maddie Grant. She's able to tag the bag with her glove. Wouldn't be surprised if we review this.
Yeah, that was an outstanding play by Maddie Grant, and it's going to be really close. It is going to be really close. Maddie has been under so much scrutiny with her defense. She does everything she can here. Goes to the back side of the base, which is all she can do. We'll take a look.
As you mentioned, back in the starting lineup, we've seen Jack Hasty also get the start intermittently at first base. Can really see the rain coming down there.
Grant does an excellent job when she's fielding this ball of letting her body follow the ball. She doesn't try to get to it and stop. She moves through it. Just for her, unfortunately, it's taking her away. And so she has so much more ground to cover, and then the angle coming back to the base, she's stuck going back to the back side. If she would have had a better angle and could have come to the front side, it could have maybe been a little different, but it does look like we're going to get our final answer right now.
Stacey Newton makes her way back into the infield here. Okay, and the call will be overturned. Apps that they use now to be able to check in situations like this. So they had a lot of conversation, but they have been itching to get back on the field. Long hiatus. Clearly they're coming out to make a statement this evening.
Yeah, they are. And, you look around the field a little bit. The pitching surface gets a lot of work, but you can start to see some of the water pooling, as you take the time to work on the pitching area behind third base and in the corners. Just it's going to get slick, and they can do a lot of things to keep the ball dry and some of that, but it's going to be the footing of these infielders and outfielders with that ball in play that will get a little questionable.
So 1-2 to Kennedy Harp, drilled into right center field. A long fly ball against the fence at the warning track is Pickens. 2 will score, a stand-up triple for Kennedy Harp, and a pair of RBIs.
Kennedy Harp can just absolutely fly. She is on the move from the get-go. She knows this is a big park. She is in the center field gap at 220, and that ball just sticks in the warning track, and there is no doubt about it. That moves her closer to the record. She is now within 1 to tie the school record for triples, and just she has been piling those on all year.
And into shallow center field. Ashton Danley flares one. And another RBI as Harp will cross the plate.
Lotus a little ginger on getting up, giving the thumbs up though. She probably needs to work that out a little bit. Great effort, great dive, just not able to get the range necessary as Florida State continues to find a way to score 4 more in this inning thus far.
It's Shelby McKenzie. Got a single into left field. Her first plate appearance. Made it all the way to second. Was stranded there in the first. Fouls this one out of play. So 9-0 in favor of the Noles. Skies this to the right-hand side. Chelsea Mack making the call and making the grab for out number 3. Another crooked number in the top of the second. 9-0 headed to the home half of the second.
Guys, where they need them the most.
Well, right on cue, Annabelle Wedra, the senior from Hoover, Alabama, will take over in the circle for Danley. Wedra with a 2.23 ERA, 8-2 on decisions, 59 2/3 innings worth of work. Pretty exceptional, just 5 walks to her 37 strikeouts. She leads the country in those with those 5 walks per 7 innings.
Yeah, and for Wedra, you know, only throwing about 20% of the innings. You'll also see her play second base. You'll see her in the batter's box. She's going to throw mid-60s. She'll use a rise ball, and she can throw it in multiple planes. That low rise ball can be very difficult to recognize. And then mixing speeds, and that's just been something that, you know, the Florida State pitching staff has done well. Coach Alameda's done well of finding where each pitcher has their niche and where they can be successful. And for Wedra, she's done a great job of challenging hitters in that rise ball space, but also, you know, the effective velocity of moving it around and then adding the changeup.
Wedra faces Madison Pickens, who fouls this ball off. Count will stay at 2-2. Pickens, the freshman from Flowery Branch, Georgia. Seen her mainly defensively play in right field, but we will see her behind the plate as well. Lines this one into left center field. Kennedy Harp grabs that ball, gets it into the infield, and a hard struck ball there by Pickens. A single puts her aboard.
You know, and that's huge. And there have been some really good at-bats from Louisville, and it's been a while since we had Despines up to end that second inning, but
yeah,
she had a great at-bat to end the second inning. And you talk to the staff about, well, what do they need to see and who do they need to see it from? And it's Despines, Pickens, and Monroe. So Despines puts together a good at-bat. Doesn't get the end result, but staying process-oriented. Pickens does the same, and pass the bat to Monroe and see if she can add on.
Taylor Monroe takes a big cut, the freshman from Spencer, Indiana. Monroe sits first in the ACC with her 11 sack bunts, but is up there swinging away. Falls behind to the count 0-2. And a punch out for Widra. They'll sit Taylor Monroe down, out number 1 here in the bottom of the second.
And that's where Monroe has found her difficulty. When she has the opportunity as a leadoff and bases empty, she's over 300 runners on, under 200. Just been a different, it almost seems like mentality for her in the batter's box. And anytime, you are the first year of your collegiate career, that can be tough. That can be a hard thing to learn and work through, and something that she'll continue to plug away at.
Maddie Grant gets that ball over to Jason E. Beecham.
Yeah, Beecham, great job recording the out. And for Maddie Grant, she saw what she wanted early in the count and went after it. And I think for Louisville, being aggressive is going to be part of it. You are not going to have multiple at-bats against the same pitcher for Florida State. You're not going to be able to learn a little bit and make an adjustment later. So you better have that plan ready. And when you get the pitch you want, you better swing at it, because the ability to learn and make adjustments is gone when you're not going to face the same pitcher.
Well, it's Allie Alexander, the senior from Louisville, Kentucky. Little check swing there, fouls that ball off, falls behind in the count, 0-2. Sitting at a .354 batting average. Well outside there to Alexander. Little shallow shot there. Angeli Bueno able to squeeze that for out number 3. So Louisville strands another.
In the circle, you're going to get a new face for Louisville. Sam Boo is in. The right-handed pitcher is going to be a little bit different as she gives way to a single there.
Little chopper to the first base. Maddie Grant, who's able to step on the bag and retire Janai Kerr. So Isa Torres will advance to second base. So one out here for the Cardinals defense. It's Sam Boo in the circle for the Cards now. And Michaela Edenfield at the plate. Third pitcher used. Are you surprised that Coach Holly April has brought in a third pitcher this early, Joanna?
I think so much of it is how much do you want Florida State to see your pitchers? I mean, we know that Louisville has several arms they can go to. We've seen Harrison, we've seen Mullen, we've seen a lot of arms in the circle, but ultimately Zabala, Gray, and Boo are the 3 that you're going to see throughout the course of a series. If Zabala is not healthy, then you really have to try to work around Boo and Gray and try to get the matchups you want, whether that's lefty and righty or how many times you've seen someone. And I think that knowing that there's still 2 games to go in this series, you just want to limit the exposure for any one arm too early.
So the 2-2 to Edenfield, a swung on and missed, and a big punch out. Sam Boo happy with that pitch. big strikeout and out number 2 for the Cards.
Boo working up in the zone here against Edenfield, and that is a pitcher's pitch. It's great location, especially with that count, and that's what you have to do with Florida State. You got to get them to chase a little bit, and that's hard when you have a 9-run lead. Usually you can get people to chase when the game's tight or they haven't had much success yet. When you're sitting with a lead, it's a lot less likely that those disciplined hitters will work outside of their zone.
Beecham, a little check swing there, does go. There we get to see Sam Boo, the senior from New Palestine, Indiana, one of, again, those 4 seniors that will be honored tomorrow at 3 p.m. First pitch. This is drilled into center field. Going back is Chelsea Mack at the warning track for out number 3. So Boo, a good outing there. Top of the 3rd. No runs scored from the Noles. They lead by 9. Home half of the 3rd. Coming up next. Mild temperatures. Top of the lineup for the Cards. Easton Lotus leads off here in the bottom of the 3rd. Annabelle Weidra still in the circle for the Noles. A line out to Jason E. Beecham, playing the exceptional hot corner there. I'll bring Chelsea Mack back to the plate for a second time. She ground out to shortstop. Isa Torres back in the 1st. First pitch delivery from Weidra in for a strike. Catching the outside part of the plate as Weidra works ahead in the count here. No balls, 2 strikes. Gets Mack chasing there, so 2 quick outs for Annabelle Weidra. That brings Char Lorenz to the plate. Char Lorenz, 1 for 1, sitting at 364 clip. A single, hard hit shot. 3rd baseman Jason E. Beecham back in the 1st. Swing and a miss there from Lorenz. Made it to second base. Was stranded there back in the 1st. Drills this. It will be foul. Lorenz, one of Softball America's preseason freshmen to watch. A couple of weeks ago, she was named by Softball America as the #1 freshman in the ACC. Putting up some big numbers. Sidelined due to injury a season ago. Again, foul territory there. Sidelined a season ago due to injury. Back in the lineup, has been a mainstay. Really put up the big numbers, much anticipated from a season ago.
Yep, you think about this Louisville team and the lineup changes that they've had, and Easton Lotus not being able to have her season last year. Char Lorenz, Alexander was out at the end of the year. Just so much turmoil for them and not being able to put the product they wanted on the field for the duration of the season, really. And so trying to get everybody on the same page this year has just been a little bit different as they learn to work together along with the newcomers.
Foul tip there. Count stays at 2-2. So a defensive switch to note. Maddie Fry is now catching Annabelle Widra. So Fry behind the dish. Addie DeLong in left field. So a couple of defensive changes. That ball just foul. Looked awfully close to me.
It was close. It was well hit. Your base is your guide here. It needs to be fair as it crosses the base. I think that's why you see the umpire there standing in harm's way so that you can make that call. So I'm sure Heath Walker had a great view of that.
Another hard hit ball to Jason Beecham, but again, Charla Renz, super speedy, and Bueno kind of pulled off the bag there.
Yeah, again, both sides, right? Not completely clean from Beecham. Has to double grasp that, and then on the stretch, not able to maintain contact with the base. And Lorenz just quick, so she's going to put the pressure on, and she's gotten the best of this Seminoles team twice with some hard-hit ground balls.
Well, this is a slow-rolling ground ball, but not able to get there in time is Cam Luckadoo. So out number 3 for the Noles. Defense will strand Charla Renz. We will head to the top of the 4th. Noles lead by 9 on ACC Network Extra. Series, easy for me to say apparently. Katie Dack just flew out to right field as Angeli Bueno now to the plate to face Sam Boo. Bueno with a pair of singles. Both to the right-hand side. 3 RBIs so far in her body of work. And again, on the right-hand side, a great play there by Maddie Grant. For out number 2. Sam Boo working very efficiently in the circle for the Cards.
You know, we talked about the maturation process of Brooke Gray, and the same can be said for Sam Boo, and Coach April's talked about that since the early part of the year as well.
How about that play, Easton Lotus? Some fantastic defense for the Cards. Great play there by the second baseman for out number 3. How about that defense for the Cards? We are back here, headed to the home half of the 4th. Despines, Pickens, Monroe due up for the Cards. You see Florida State 9 runs on 10 hits, no errors. Louisville 3 hits, 3 errors. Annabelle Widra back into the circle. Despines, the lone batter in the Louisville lineup that has not faced Annabelle Widra. Addison Pickens was the first to face Widra back in the second. Despines a good at bat. Saw a lot of pitches against Ashton Danley. Did end up grounding out second baseman Christina Hartley. It was a hard hit ball. Full count. Check swing. Delivery from Widra misses high. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. That catches the outside part of the plate, and a backwards K for Widra will ring up Despines.
This delivery from Widra just on the money. Excellent job by the battery being able to call, execute, and finish that up behind the plate. One of my favorite things about Florida State, they're really the first to do this. They use first baseman's mitts behind the plate. You're not going to see a traditional catcher's mitt, and just the ability to manipulate that glove. They have Kaylee Rafter on their staff, and Rafter is one of the best catchers around and catching coaches around.
Talk Talk about some great defense. Jason E. Beecham able to make that grab in foul territory, up and over backhand side of her glove. Exceptional play there by the hot corner. Read that right off the bat of Pickens. So 2 outs for the Noles defense. Monroe looking to bunt and get a board there. Fouls this one off.
Just to wrap up that thought with Kaylee Rafter, just head coach of the Canadian national team as well. But she talks a lot about the ability to not change balls to strikes, but make sure you don't lose strikes as balls when they are the marginal pitches, because you're moving so much as a catcher. She's just really fun to talk that position with and has such a passion for coaching catchers. And I think that's a prime example. Anytime you can get the strikeouts looking, it generally means you have a great receiving catcher. And whether that's Edenfield or Fry, they're very good at what they do, and they spend a lot of time working on those skills.
Monroe fouls this one off, and Kaylee Rafter with quite a weekend. She'll hop on a flight to be with her team.
Yeah, just going to Switzerland
in
tomorrow.
Switzerland.
Yeah, no big deal. No big deal. Just
No big deal.
gonna fly across the pond, and it's so good for softball, and to see former players, standout players, stay involved as coaches, and educating the next group of elite athletes. It's really cool.
Well, 2 out of 3 batters struck out in that half inning. So a quick 1-2-3 for Weedra.
Say all the time, oh, it's a long season, it's a marathon, not a sprint, oh, we're in the grind. But it takes a very unique coach to approach it and coach to it in a way that is intentional, and there's really no other word. You talk about Coach Alameda and giving days off that some coaches wouldn't give, and she's one of the first to really monitor sleep at a high level and do so many things to make sure that her team was prepared for the end of the year. You see that with Edenfield coming out of the game. She does that regularly. Well, you want to keep her legs fresh, right? So, I mean, just being able to have the depth on your team that you can give breaks, and then the philosophy and the will to stay with that philosophy throughout the season, and it's paid off.
Annabelle Weedra skies this to right center field. Chelsea Mack covers a lot of ground, able to retire Weedra for out number 1. See Florida State, 3 Women's College World Series final appearances in the last 6 seasons. You saw they took home the title in 2018.
And prior to that title, they had the most World Series appearances without winning a championship. It was just a monkey on the program's back, led for so many years by NFCA Hall of Famer Joanne Graff. Dr. Graff, I love her. She gave me my first job in college athletics, so I always have to give her the shout out. But she's just an icon in the sport, went to so many World Series. Florida State won a couple AIAW titles, which they continue to celebrate in Tallahassee. And Coach Alameda just continuing that presence. And I saw a social media post the other day, and it's the only coach that makes Oklahoma nervous, right? And she's an Oklahoma grad, so it's fitting. But she's done great things for this program and the sport as a whole.
Shelby McKenzie well ahead in the count, 3-0. Across the heart of the plate, 4 called strike, 3-1. McKenzie 1 for 2. Her body of work this evening. Sends this foul. And again, covering a lot of space into the left field side territory. Chelsea Mack able to make that grab, getting her steps in here at the top of the 5th. That'll bring Isa Torres back to the plate. Torres, the first batter to face Sam Boo in the 3rd. Single to the left-hand side, facing Boo. The lone hit that Sam Boo has given up in her outing. Very efficient and effective. The 1-1 to Torres, lined up the middle. And again has Boo's number. A big turn there, but she'll stay at first.
She has everybody's number. I mean, just the way that she approaches her at bats, the way the ball's flying off the bat, and just what she's put up statistically all season long.
Yeah, with that single, takes her average to 452 on the season. She'll pass the bat to Addie DeLong.
That's it? 452?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep.
Seems like he should take the over.
Well, and how about freshman Addie DeLong from Mechanicsburg, Ohio, sitting at a 444 clip. Her 19th plate appearance.
This is a little bit about, what we spoke to earlier in the game of working athletes in the lineup, giving them experiences in places where they can be successful.
Lots of speed. Addie DeLong looked like she beat that play out. We'll see if we're going to have a replay here. Review. Using the dirt to her advantage. She looks like she beats that out. So 2 on. Michaela Edenfield has now re-entered the game for Maddie Fry.
DeLong did a great job using the ground there. Boo fielding her position very well, coming to get that right away, but just the speed and the height of the bounce, able to convert that into a single. Provide another base running opportunity for the Seminoles. So Edenfield back at the plate. I'd give Sam Boo another go. Strikeout victim of Boo back in the third. 0 for 2. Reached on an error in the first, scored a run, walked in the second, also scored a run. Chops this foul and falls behind in the count 0-2. Well outside to Edenfield. Edenfield, part of that 2025 preseason All-ACC team. Season ago was named to the third team NFCA All-American team. First team All-ACC. Line inside. Now it's a full count to Edenfield. Boo trying to revisit that up pitch. She got Edenfield to chase last time. A little different left to right location, but trying to taunt her again.
You could see Edenfield immediately said that's off the plate. So bases are juiced now for Jason E. Beecham, who will stride to the plate. Beecham 1 for 3 this evening. Had a single back in the first and an RBI. Has flown out her other 2 plate appearances. So Torres, DeLong, and Edenfield on the base pass for the Noles. Beecham at the plate. Just missing outside. Sophomore from Tallahassee, Florida. Also part of preseason All-ACC team. She was named the Tucci NFCA Freshman of the Year a season ago, as well as an All-American named by the NFCA. Impressive body of work for the freshman. Well inside to Beecham. Big deep breath there from Sam Boo as Bree Despines wants to come out and have a word with Boo. High pressure situation here. Just looking for the 3rd out. Across the heart of the plate for a called strike. So 3 balls, 1 strike, the count on Beecham. Beecham drills this into right field. Pickens makes a great catch there. So nothing doing for the Noles, who leave the Bigs stranded. We're headed to the bottom half.
Yeah, it's been a little while. 2 weeks ago, she had a pinch hit at Boston College. It was her last plate appearance, so a little bit of time since being in the batter's box. Went through a stretch where she was DPing a little bit.
Over to the second baseman, Christina Hartley. That'll sit down Ava Venturelli. Again, another pinch hit here. Be Katie Thatcher. Sophomore from Rock Falls, Illinois. Really came up with some clutch hits a season ago for the Cards. This is downstairs to Thatcher. That's a called strike. So 1 ball, 1 strike to Katie Thatcher. Drills this, it'll stay fair. Thatcher will round first, and unable to glove that ball cleanly is Katie Dack, and Thatcher with a big knock there finds herself at second base. Allie Alexander will re-enter the game. Take over for Katie Thatcher, who does her job.
Well, Katie Thatcher has been one that Louisville's been trying to get back in the lineup. She's been battling injuries. You know, really surprised to see her even take the turn to go to second base with what she's been dealing with. But obviously having the time with the ball in right field, not played cleanly, and take the double and put yourself in scoring position, try to etch across a run here for Louisville.
I'll bring Easton Lotus back to the plate. Drills this into left field, a little one-hopper. Well played, though, by DeLong. And that'll score Allie Alexander from second base, and the Cards are on the board. Gonna have another pinch hitter here. Be Riley Janda. standout freshman for the Cards. So if Easton Lotus scores, that'll stave off the run rule, at least here in the 5th. 1 out for the Noles defense. Riley Janda at the plate. Just the 9th at bat for Janda this season. Madra's delivery in for a strike. Swing and a miss there from Janda. Close call there, but Stacy Newton says that is a ball. 1-2 the count to Janda. That misses outside, evens up the count 2-2. Janda drills this into left center field, all the way back to the fence. Lotus has the green light, and actually Holly April's gonna hold her up at third base. A big stand-up double pinch hit for Riley Janda. And 2 runners in scoring position now for Char Lorenz.
We gotta love that approach by Janda. Just look at how she stays stacked, very aggressive toward this pitch, drives it into the gap. You know, Coach April talked about you can't just hope something happens, right? Hope is not a strategy. Maybe my favorite line from the year, but trying to make sure that these student athletes are being productive and not just trying to be productive. And even though they only have 1 run across the board right now, the Florida State team only gives up about 2 runs per game, 2.4 runs per game. So if you can get those runs in, you're doing something right. And for Louisville, it's taking a little bit of time, but they're finding some presence in the batter's box and really making some good adjustments for themselves right now. It's going to make a difference. May not make a difference this game, but it will as the series continues.
See the numbers here for Char Lorenz. She's got 2 in scoring position, 48 RBI so far this season, 12 shy of the single season program record, leading all ACC freshmen in that stat category. So big spot here for the freshman. 1 out. Easton Lotus, Riley Janda aboard, both in scoring position. Lots of speed on the base path. Lorenz 2 for 2 tonight. It's a pair of singles both to the left-hand side. Hard hit ball to Isa Torres, who can't handle it. 1 crosses the plate, and Louisville does just what they wanted to do. They stave off the run rule here in the 5th, and they continue the inning. Runners on the corners. Just another hard hit ball there by Char Lorenz.
Yeah, 3rd one that Lorenz has put on the ground with enough pace on it that it has just confused or disallowed that Seminole defense to make the play. Both Beecham and her teammate on the left-hand side having a hard time gathering those in, and for Florida State, that has been the tough part, and that's been something that, you know, Torres and Beecham have had to deal with a little bit.
Well, and Char Lorenz will be caught stealing for the 7th time this season.
Yeah, Edenfield does a great job getting rid of this, and it takes her up the lane a little bit from Torres, but she does a great job of getting the tag down, and for Loren's foot just gets in the air, and even though the tag was offline.
Unable to glove that cleanly as we draw. And you gotta wonder, you know, the state of the dirt. You know, you've seen multiple miscues defensively because of the rain, pulling the tarp on and off.
Yeah, possibly. You know, the playing surface is going to be different anywhere you go. You know, it's not going to be your home playing surface, and you're going to need to get used to things. And Florida State not able to spend any time on the dirt prior to today's game, that might have, you know, something to do with it, or even if it's, you know, just something that they're thinking about. But, you know, definitely have had the ability to make plays, have just had some of those miscues, have come back to get them.
Louisville putting up 3 runs. It's Bree Despines at the plate now. Pitches well outside to Despines. Cam Luckadoo reached on that E1. That's a sky to the right-hand side. And Despines sends one out of the park. A 2-run home run. And Louisville continues to pass the bat.
Yeah, Louisville doing an outstanding job of not saying quit. And that's something that they have been known for a while. They're a gritty team, and they've been able to take advantage of several opportunities. This ball just too much plate. Despines does a great job barreling it up, finds its way out of the park, and there's some more runs across the board as Louisville's inching closer, putting up their own crooked number here in the 5th.
So a 2-run home run for Bree Despines. Clear the base pass and bring Madison Pickens to the plate. She sends this a little opposite. Oppo Taco, but Addie DeLong will make the snag there close to the left field line for out number 3. So as you mentioned, Joanna, Louisville putting up a crooked number of their own. 5 runs in the bottom of the 5th. We're going to keep playing softball. We're headed to the 6th next. So 5, 6, and 7 due up for the Noles. Welcome back here on the ACC Network Extra. I'm Suzanne Bush, joined alongside Joanna Lane. And it was an exciting 5th inning. The Cards really strung something together. They put up a big 5 spot. Wanted to continue playing softball this evening. Katie Dack to face Sam Boo.
We talked about it at the very beginning, Suzanne, but this Louisville team has things to prove. You know, it is not a shoo-in that they will make the tournament. They've got things to work through. And so whether it's, you know, waiting until your back is against the wall to extend the game or, you know, finding another way, that's what they need. They need to see that. They need to, you know, have a little proof in the belief here, so to speak. But Florida State fighting back here, the leadoff double.
Well struck ball there by Katie Dack. That'll bring Angeli Bueno's 2 for 3 on the evening. A big swing there from Bueno. Bueno, a pair of singles, 3 RBIs and a line out in her body of work so far this evening. Well outside to Bueno. Bueno getting her 17th start. A slow roller up to Sambu. Sambu checks over. Katie Dack knows she doesn't have a play, so gets Bueno at first for out number 1. Dack advances to third.
A good decision there from Sambu. She checked Dack right away, but Dack was on the move, on contact, a little angle down, solid in the ground, and that's that Florida State base running we've talked about a little bit. That's second nature for them. Louisville the same way, really, when they are on the base paths. They are similar in that regard.
Well, and that was one thing that Holly April talked about on our call this week is she loves coaching base running. And you've mentioned it before, not a lot of coaches spend a lot of time honing in on how to run the bases. And it shows with this Cardinals team specifically, leading the ACC in their stolen bases. Obviously, they have had some miscues getting called out and caught stealing in certain situations, but overall, they've been very successful in their approach.
Right, and if you're going to run, then you have to be okay with being thrown out.
Yeah.
You can't, it's one of those things that if you are going to make that a staple of your offense, then you have to think about, those outs as poker chips, if nothing else, and you're going to get 21 of them. And sometimes you're going to hit big and sometimes you're going to lose, but you've got to figure out when you can take that risk and when it values with the reward. And teaching base running is an everyday thing. It has to be ingrained.
Well struck ball into right field. Pickens comes up throwing, a throw on the dime, able to apply the tag in time. And how about that double play? As Katie Dack is picked off, a fantastic throw on a dime from Pickens to Despines and then to Alexander. What a defensive stand by the Cards, and the momentum has shifted in favor of the Cards. We are headed to the bottom of the 6th, and what a top of the 6th defensive play it was. Madison Pickens on a dime, able to throw that ball to Despines, who gets it to Allie Alexander, applies the tag to get the double play to end the top of the 6th. Great throw there by Bree Despines. We got a good look at her in the dugout. Catcher for the Cards. There's Bree.
She's had a good couple of innings.
Yes, a little home run action, and then picking people off on the base paths, no big deal. Another day in the life.
Yeah, and even from her first at bat today, it was a great at bat, even though the result didn't happen. And that's someone that Coach talked about early. We need her to step up. We need just a little bit more from her as she's settled in, and she's been a contributor all season long. And they've been so happy to have her on this team coming in as a transfer. But it's being able to do things defensively, being able to add offensively. It's meant a lot to this program this year.
Pinch hitter in the batter's box for the Cards is Jack Hasty. Jack Hasty will be retired via the strikeout. Annabelle Wiedra continues her outing, and Joanna, after the big 5th inning, the crooked number, Louisville puts up 5 runs. Are you surprised to see Wiedra back in the circle for the Noles?
I really am, and what a great comeback for her getting that strikeout to start the inning. But, Wiedra has only thrown more than 4 innings twice this year. 4.1 innings against NC State, and then also against NC State going 5 innings. So, if she records one more out, she's at her 2nd longest outing of the year. And for Florida State, they have so many arms and they use so many pitchers in a game. It's just a little surprising that in the middle of a 5 spot, when you were so close to ending this game early, that you let her go. And that might be a strategy of, she needs to take some more innings on, or let's see how she gets through this with the run support we have. I don't know. All of those things are plausible, but I was a little surprised to see her come back out to start this inning.
Maddie Grant to the plate to face Annabelle Wiedra. The 2-1. In for a strike, evens up the count, 2-2. Skies this into center field. Under it is Kennedy Harp. Back at the warning track. She'll make the squeeze for out number 2. A well-struck ball, but a big ballpark puts that into the glove of Kennedy Harp. Little victory dance.
Now batting the third baseman, number 23, Allie Alexander.
It'll be Allie Alexander, who was pinch hit for last at bat by Katie Thatcher. Katie Thatcher gets up, belts a double into right field. Allie Alexander re-enters the game, runs, able to score that first of handful of runs in the bottom of the 5th. Alexander flashes the bunt, pitches outside. 2-1 the count. Senior from right here in Louisville, Kentucky.
I mean, that's like halfway through.
Spencer County High School.
That's like halfway through, right?
2-1 is swung on. Big cut there from Alexander.
Not a pitch you usually see Alexander chase. That's something that early in her career she did a lot of, but she has been so disciplined. You can tell she just wants to hit right now.
Lays off same pitch there that time.
When you're in a hitter's count, there's nothing wrong with just unleashing on one every once in a while. Sometimes you guess incorrectly, but good take on a comeback pitch there by Alexander.
Payoff pitch is swung on, fouled off the back screen. Good infield giving chase there. Another payoff pitch. And another foul ball. Off the press box and back into the stands.
Almost had a shot at that one.
And the third payoff pitch coming to Alexander. And it's Groundhog Day.
And it's likely, everyone, that the jokes will just get worse. I mean, we're approaching 10:30 at night, and it's
Yes, that might be the case. You know, we haven't thrown in, Joanna, nearly as many Derby puns as I thought we were going to. So, viewer be warned, tomorrow it will be chock
Challenge.
full of all the Derby puns.
challenge accepted. You know, I do hope, in all sincerity, that we do get a little bit of clear in the weather, because the Derby Festival is so much fun. We've lost some events this year, but the balloon glow, you know, all this weekend, and there's so many of the balloon race, and you know, hope we get some weather that allows that. It's always cool to see the hot air balloons take to the sky.
Got that coming up this weekend. Got the parade on Sunday. Lonnie Alameda striding to the circle. See if she's going to make a change. It looks like she's going to. Takes the ball from Annabelle Wiedra. So with that walk, that'll do it for Annabelle Wiedra. Looks like it's going to be Julia Apsell coming in next. We'll tell you about her after these messages. Well, it'll be the lefty, Julia Apsell, the red shirt senior from Glen Gardner, New Jersey, transferred from Hofstra after last season. 12-0 on decision this season, 2.69 ERA, 57 1/3 innings worth of work. The thing that sticks out the most, Joanna, to me, 11 walks to 53 strikeouts for Apsell.
And I think that's really a testament to the work that she's put in Tallahassee. She works vertically, so she generally will give up some walks. She throws very hard. She'll use that off speed, but we were fortunate enough to call Apsell here in Louisville a few years ago when she was playing with her Hofstra team. And so just being able to, she's been here before, she's been in the stadium before, but having seen her then and seeing her now, she has much more command than she did earlier in her career. And Coach Alameda has done that with several pitchers who have transferred in for the Seminoles over the last several years.
So a couple of defensive shifts with that. Weedraw will take over at second base for Hartley, and now Hallie Waycaser is playing in right field. Pardon me, that is still Christina Hartley at second base for the Seminoles, but it is Hallie Waycaser in right field. A big cut there from Easton Lotus. Fouls this out of play. Easton Lotus falls behind the count, 0-2. Lotus with a single into left field and an RBI back in the fifth. Jason Beecham wins that battle, times her jump just perfectly for out number 3. We are headed to the top of the 7th, Noles by 4. All we've seen thus far. It's Hallie Waycaser to face Sam Boo. Waycaser, the red shirt senior from Bentonville, Arkansas. Centerton, Arkansas, pardon me, went to Bentonville West High School. Two-time Gatorade Player of the Year, both her sophomore and senior seasons there at Bentonville West. Hold off that check swing. In and on the hands, fouled into the stands.
Quite the animated look over the shoulder on the check swing. Did you see me? Did you see me? No,
No, of course not.
did not go.
Payoff pitch. Not in the strike zone, says Stacy Newton. So Waycaser with the free pass.
That was a great pitch from Boo, and in that sequence, starting the at-bat with the changeup, coming back with the changeup at the end. She can use that pitch anywhere in any count, but it's hard to throw at the end of an at-bat. I thought that was an excellent pitch. Didn't fall her way that time, but definitely stays in the mind for future hitters. And, you know, she's had a few innings out there, and they've had scouting reports already, of course, but it's always good just to show a card every once in a while, keep everybody honest.
Well, we've got a pinch hitter here. It's Amaya Ross, senior from Jacksonville, Florida. Drills this a foul. Ross has played in 43 games, 29 starts this season. That just goes to show the depth that Lonnie Alameda has with this squad. Hard hit ball to Taylor Monroe. Underhands it to Easton Lotus, unable to get the 6-4-3 double play. So Maya Ross aboard with the fielder's choice. Cards defense able to get that lead runner.
Great job defensively sticking with that play in a game where we've seen some vacating of positions and just a lack of, you know, the fundamental steps of fielding those ground balls. Good job to get that lead runner.
Speaking of lead runner, that'll bring Isa Torres leading off this evening. Just 2 for 3. Maya Ross, safe. No surprises there. Ross leads the ACC with her 21 stolen bases this season. That was number 22. So much speed. Torres swings away, fouls this off. Molly Alexander checks out Ross. Gonna throw back, get her at third. Nothing doing, but will retire Isa Torres at first base for out number 2. Maya Ross makes her way to third.
And several runners we've seen. Louisville doing a good job of checking their progress, you know, trying to really limit how far in advance they can get on any ground ball, but with 60-foot base paths and great speed and even better awareness, Florida State continues to push those limits a little bit, taking the 60 feet when they can.
We're going to see Janai Kerr re-enter the game. Janai Kerr just above that 400 batting average clip, 402. Just 1 for 3 on the night. Single to the left-hand side and scored back in the first. Struck out looking in the second. Ground out to first. Finds a 5-6 hole here and an RBI for Kerr.
And Kerr just continuing that clutch hitting. 467 with runners in scoring position and tack on another one. Just not trying to do too much. She takes the ball with her away, pitches away, throws the barrel at it, able to scoot that through the infield, score a run, and continue giving Florida State a bigger lead.
10-5 now in favor of the Noles. Kayla Edenfield is 0 for 2. 1-1 outside, 2-1 to the red shirt senior, Michaela Edenfield. Edenfield already with 2 walks this evening. That catches the inside part of the plate for a called strike. Drills this into left field. Char Lorenz will take that on a 1-hop. A big single base knock there for Edenfield.
Edenfield sticking with this inside pitch. Not able to find the strike zone was Boo on the outside pitch. Had to kind of come back into Edenfield. Edenfield able to keep that fair. Drive that ball into left field.
Looks like that might do it for Sam Boo. Looks like it's going to be Lindsay Mullen to get her number called. We'll tell you about the sophomore from Leesburg, Virginia.
Weekend, but it bodes well for her for now.
So now we've got Lindsay Mullen in the circle, the sophomore from Leesburg, Virginia. We've seen some bright spots from Mullen this season. Sits at a 5.04 ERA, 2-2 on decisions in her 33 1/3 innings worth of work. Just 9 walks to 26 strikeouts.
You immediately go back to that 14-inning marathon Notre Dame game where she came in the middle and threw 7 innings, and she does that by having a very accurate delivery. She'll use a curve and a rise combo, but it's her adjustments and it's hitting the spots, and she can do that and change speed. Sometimes she can really induce hitters into what this is, that high pop-up, unable to barrel her up.
Well, Jason Beecham pops up to Char Lorenz for out number 3. So Lindsay, first time facing Julia Apsell, with Apsell being in a Seminoles jersey.
The interesting thing about Chelsea Mack is that she is better against left-handed pitchers, which is rare for a left-handed hitter, but Mack tends to do very well against lefties. There are several Louisville athletes that have that same tendency, but this might be a good switch for Mack as she looks to try to find a way aboard in a leadoff role.
Apsell's pitch misses outside. 1-1, the count to Chelsea Mack. Flashes the bunt, pulls it back. Pitch misses outside. Little chopper off the glove of Apsell. Nothing they can do about that. Hartley can't get that ball in time. So Chelsea Mack looking to get something started. Sparks her offense for the Cards.
Yep, good leadoff at bat there by Mack, and just looking in the lineup, Luckadoo and Lorenz also better against a lefty pitcher in the splits than against a righty, so a good opportunity here for Louisville.
Lorenz is 2 for 3 this evening. Been aboard all 3 plate appearances. Had a pair of singles. The first and third reached on an error in the 5th. Skies this to the right-hand side. Waycaser will make the grab. Mack will stay at first. So the Seminoles now with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th.
Now that's the designated player, number 9, Cameron Luckadoo.
That'll bring Cam Luckadoo, sophomore from Georgetown, Kentucky, to the plate. Designated player. Player that Holly April calls super versatile. Can play anywhere in the field. And a really good situational hitter. Transferred from the University of Kentucky after 1 season. Seen her a little bit defensively at shortstop, but mainly in this designated player position so far this season. 1-1, the count to Luckadoo.
And really from the beginning of the year, the thing the coaching staff kept reiterating about Luckadoo is raising the level of those around her, really challenging them at practice in all facets of development. So even not having, a role in the defensive lineup very often, I think she still has made this defense better in the way that she's approached workouts and pushing teammates, and that's just so valuable when you find the athlete on your team that can do that. And she's really come into her own offensively, providing a lot of output here as of late.
2-2 to Luckadoo into left center field. Kennedy Harp looking to make that catch, not able to. Mack with speed. A well-struck ball there for Luckadoo, and runners, 2 runners in scoring position for the Cards. You see Harp had a good beat on this.
Harp's foot speed is outstanding, so you can see that she gets to it, just gets stuck, it looks like, with the glove. So often you're teaching your outfielders to extend through and really keep that glove moving. You never want it to get stuck into your body. Not able to make that play, and really good awareness from Chelsea Mack. You have to respect the speed of Harp in center field. You know she's going to have a chance at that, and be ready to turn on your own jets when the opportunity comes.
So now Bree Despines, who had a 2-run home run in the 5th, has 2 aboard in scoring position. Sixth home run of the season. Takes that off the Evo shield on her elbow. Bases are juiced for the Cards.
And Despiny is not afraid to wear one like most catchers. She gets beat up all the time back there, holds her ground, and takes that pitch and finds her way aboard. Talk about that weaponization of the Evo shield, if you will. You're not likely to take that pitch if you don't have that protective layer on. But the way the rule is written right now, that's her space, and her team is thankful that she's able to do that. Load them up here for Madison Pickens.
So there's 1 out here. It's Bree Despines, Cam Luckadoo, and Chelsea Mack around the base paths for the Cards.
Pickens with 8 at-bats on the year when bases are loaded, 2 hits.
And that's in for a strike. 2-1, the count to Pickens. This is upstairs, 3-1 now. Guys, this out of play. Payoff pitch to Pickens. Swung on and missed. A big punch out for Apsel.
Apsel being able to climb that ladder with that rise ball. Pickens not able to lay off of it. That was a great pitch for the pitch before. Being able to challenge Pickens and then obviously continuing to work that zone and stretch it ends in Apsel's favor.
That'll bring Taylor Monroe to the plate. Monroe did have a grand slam earlier this season against Eastern Kentucky. She'll take that off the wrist. With that hit by pitch, Chelsea Mack will cross the plate. Takes that off the forearm there.
No Evo shield on that one.
Nope.
That'll bring Coach Alameda out for a conversation.
Walk a run across the plate, 10-6 in favor of the Noles. We're gonna have another new face in the circle. I'll tell you about the new face here in just a second, after these messages. The freshman from Rockledge, Florida, Jazzy Francic, will enter the circle. Named the ACC Pitcher of the Week after the Cal sweep back on the 15th of April. She's been outstanding as a freshman in the circle with some ice water veins, Joanna.
She has been, not in that save category yet, but by looking at the saves that she has been afforded, it just means she has the trust of her coaching staff to come in late in the game. So no surprise here that this is who they go to. Recently named the NFCA Freshman of the Year Top 25 watch list. She's had great stuff, good off speed. She will throw to all quadrants. And right now she just wants to get Maddie Grant to swing.
Fouled out of play. Florida State 1 strike away from winning game 1 here. It's been a battle back and forth. We thought there was a possibility Florida State ending this game early in the 5th, but Louisville answered back, putting up a crooked number in the bottom of the 5th to extend this game. It's off the plate, 1-2, the count to Maddie Grant. Bases loaded. It's Luckadoo, Despines, and Monroe aboard for the Cards. Florida State looking for his last out. Maddie Grant again barrels this up, but it is foul. Game 2 of this series will be tomorrow at 3 p.m. A little change in the schedule. Allow these student athletes some sleep before game 2. Joanna and I will be along for that call. Conclusion of this series will be on the ACC Network, 6 p.m. Pam Ward, Jenny Dalton Hill will be there for that call. Outside, full count now for Maddie Grant. Payoff pitch. And Grant aboard with the walk. Luckadoo will walk across the plate. And yet again, Florida State looking for that elusive third out here to end the game.
Well, that's why when Francis came in, you know, the statement was she just needs Maddie Grant to swing. And sometimes you come in relief in this situation and you're trying to be perfect, but the odds are, you know, in your favor. It's just hard to think about it that way sometimes. So, you know, being that first-year athlete, reset here and really want to attack Allie Alexander. You don't have to be perfect. Give yourself a chance, give your team a chance.
One and 0 catches the outside part of the plate. 1-1 the count. An identical pitch to the one before. Allie Alexander can't believe it. Pushing that a little more outside.
Great job from Alexander holding off of that one. Frantic trying to continue just edging and edging, see if she can get her to chase that pitcher's pitch.
One's high and outside. Nothing doing from Allie Alexander, so another full count here for Frantic. Very patient player at the plate in Allie Alexander. So payoff pitch, loading. Off the end of the bat. Be a foul ball. Everyone will reset. Alexander skies this. The top of the press box. Playing a little plinko. It's Despines, Monroe, Grant, the base runners aboard for the Cards. Another full count pitch coming to Allie Alexander. Flares this into center field and almost getting that is Hartley. Nice block there by Edenfield. Runners on the corners. 2 will score for the Cards. The 2-out rally continues.
Yeah, great job from Allie Alexander sticking to this. The Seminole outfielders chose to play this super deep. You can see where Harp and others are. They moved back into that no doubles range for Maddie Grant and never came back up with Allie Alexander. Alexander not much on the power train, just past the outstretched arms of the infielders, and it falls in, lets Alexander score a couple runs. And don't look now, but we got ourselves a ball game.
The tying run at third, the go-ahead walk-off run at first. That's going to turn the lineup for the Cards, bringing Easton Lotus. Had a hard hit ball against Absol back in the 6th. Nice play by Jason E. Beecham, retired Lotus, but what a game. First pitch delivery from Frantic, pardon me. in for a strike. One and one to Lotus. A slow roller back to Francic. She gets the final out. Louisville comes within just one. Scrappy indeed.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's crazy to think that, you had 9 runs on the board in 2 innings and you were in this massive hole, and you come back and we saw 28 position players. We saw 8 pitchers. We've seen 19 runs, 25 hits, 5 errors. I mean, this game had a little bit of everything all the way across the board. If you are Louisville, you feel like this one slipped away from you, that you had a chance. And if you're Florida State, you're thinking you escaped because Louisville really